This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. Some 3,000 people descended on downtown Indianapolis last week for the inaugural Rally Innovation Conference from Indianapolis-based Elevate Ventures. The goal of the three-day event, which featured over 200 speakers, including keynotes from Peyton Manning and Irvin Magic Johnson, was to put Indiana on the global stage for cross-sector innovation. The man behind the event, Elevate Ventures CEO Christopher Day, says Rally is all about creative collisions.
No longer is the world about, when you bring a company to market, no longer is it really about an actual sector. It's about domain experts from across sectors.
The importance of holding Rally in Indianapolis, Day said, centers around the assets that the city and the state of Indiana have, though those stories typically aren't being told. When it comes to innovation in tech, stakeholders believe a conference like Rally can help boost Indiana's reputation for connecting tech into other sectors, such as ag, logistics, manufacturing, and life sciences. Goshen College broke ground Friday on the renovation of its historic West Lawn Hall. The $21 million project will create a state-of-the-art nursing and public health education center, and also will feature enhanced dining and gathering spaces. The college said the new nursing facilities in the building will triple the space that its nursing and public health programs currently operate in. The Nursing and Public Health Education Center will occupy the 72-year-old building's second and third floors, which have been used as campus storage space for the last 25 years. The center will feature 3 inpatient simulation rooms, 6 exam rooms for use in high-fidelity simulation training, a 10-bed skills lab, flexible classrooms, student lounges, study areas, and office spaces. After peaking early this year, the number of tech industry layoffs and the number of companies cutting those jobs appears to have slowed in recent months. So does this mean the tech slowdown is over, both in Indiana and more broadly? That's not so easy to say. IIB's Alex Brown has more.
Local tech executives see reasons to believe Indiana's tech economy has passed the worst of the slump that began in the spring of 2022, but local job seekers are not so optimistic. Many of the layoffs happened because tech companies overhired during the tech boom peak in late 2021. Once the slowdown hit and investment funding became harder to secure, companies shifted their focus from growth to efficiency, shedding workers in the process. Those workforce challenges have also affected some of High Alpha's portfolio companies. Indianapolis-based Xylo reduced its staff by 10% in August. Marketing tech startup Demandwell had both layoffs and hiring freezes from January 2022 to June of this year. Ting Goody, CEO at Indianapolis-based TechPoint, said she also thinks the worst of the slowdown has passed and the business cycle will improve from here. But she said there are still some areas of concern in the tech economy. Software vendors are reporting that it takes about 40% longer to close sales than it did when the market was at its peak, meaning that if a software firm had previously been able to close a deal in 10 months, that same deal might now take 14 months. Software sales cycles are especially relevant to Indiana because a significant number of local companies, including all of High Alpha's portfolio companies, are business-to-business software firms. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
For 25 years, we've had the honor of telling the story of Indiana business. More than 1,300 shows, 8,000 interviews. We've traveled from Valparaiso to Versailles, Fort Wayne to Fort Branch, and everywhere in between. And we are just getting started. Our team is passionate about Indiana business because your story is worth telling. Join us every week as we travel the state to bring you Indiana's story. Inside Indiana Business, 25 years and counting.
Purdue University has been selected as one of the first cohorts of the Defense Civilian Training Corps, a talent development pipeline to civilian careers with the U.S. Department of Defense. The goal is to develop leadership skills and a collaborative mindset with students involved, so they are prepared to work on defense teams in the future. The program means students will have the ability to undertake a multidisciplinary experimental learning curriculum and summer internships, Purdue said. Purdue was one of 4 universities selected for the project. Fort Wayne-based Lutheran Health Network is opening a new primary care facility in Huntington. The healthcare system will build the 8,000-square-foot medical building at 235 Houston Road, with plans to open by late summer 2024. It's Lutheran's first foray into Huntington. The center will provide primary care and imaging services, as well as featuring rotating medical specialists. A specific number of jobs planned for the facility was not provided. The protected health information of some Indiana Medicaid members may have been compromised in a recent security breach involving Ohio-based CareSource. Officials with the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration announced Friday that the breach of CareSource, a managed care entity, happened in late May and involved the personal information of more than 200,000 Hoosiers. State officials say names, addresses, social security numbers, dates of birth, member health information, and more for the 212,193 Indiana Medicaid members were accessed through an application called MoveIt, used by CareSource. President of Bloomington-based Cook Group, Pete Yonkman, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business, Radio on Demand.